Hello YouTube, and welcome to the Like It or Not dungeon, otherwise known as the Family Basement. Today's project is the first one in a series for basically what's going to be our woodworking channel. I enjoy working with wood. It's something that I've always liked doing, but I am by no means an expert, and I am just now starting to get into it. So if you two are out there thinking, hey, I would love to get into woodworking, but I just don't want to go through the experimentation. Well, hopefully I can do that for you, and we can sort of learn together the right tools and everything else. One of the first things that I learned is that you pretty much need to get a workbench. Most of the experts out there, they're building their own. The things are pretty, and they're expensive, and they're fancy. Today, when we were out at Harbor Freight, we found a workbench, and it was only 130 bucks on sale. So I went ahead and picked it up. Um, we are about to put that together here, so figured I would show you. This is it. Okay, as we were saying, this is the Windsor Design 60-inch 4-drawer hardwood workbench. It comes with 16 bench dog holes, 4 metal pegs, 4 wood pegs, 4 felt line drawers. Um, is it the most heavy duty thing? Of course not. But like I said, I'm just now starting out. I have built projects here at home myself. Um, your basic kind of stuff. This is going to be my first attempt to get into the ability to do real stuff. Basically, get into some nicer, fancier, prettier type things, other than your standard farmhouse style furniture that I've been doing so far. So this is your basic bench. Let's start tearing into it and let's see what we've got. One thing of note is that the drawer bottoms in most furniture you buy nowadays, it's cheap furniture. Uh, Very super thin. The bottom drawers on this are, looks like probably 1/4 inch particle board. So very thick, very dense board on the bottom. User manual, how quaint. One of the disadvantages of this bench is that there is only a single wood clamp and it is on the end, not on the front. All of the professional stuff, for lack of a better word, you always have one on the front at a minimum and on the end if possible. This one only has one on the end. The hardware involved does look pretty well built though. The drawers themselves, the bottoms were pretty good, but the other piece of the drawer, it's basically a paper board with a pretty coating, and wherever they make cuts, you can see that the material is flaking off pretty badly. Again, it's the inside of a drawer. You're not really going to see it. Doesn't really affect it functionally, but just something of note. The front of the drawers actually are an actual hardwood component. Um, Basic thin pieces that are glued together, like almost everything you buy nowadays. Okay, the contents of the parts box is pretty straightforward. The metal dogs, there are 4 of those. Same thing with the wood ones, you have 4. Each drawer has an actual nice hardwood door cover and boxes of screws. The manual appears to be pretty straightforward. Doesn't appear to be complex so far. Basic tools, screwdrivers, Allen wrenches, things like that. So we will go ahead and start stepping through this and putting her together. I will say that these bolts, a lot of the furniture you put together nowadays uses those cam lock bolts where you just push it in and then this little thing comes in and you spin it and it clips around. These are actual bolts, and for lack of a better word, a nut that goes into a hole. Much better, much stronger. So far, impressed with the quality build. At least until you bump it and they all fall out. So make a note, before you tighten the other leg down, it kind of has to be loose for the board to fit. If I'd read the instructions a little bit closer, like no one else does, in theory, I might have noticed that. But yeah, so this actually slides into a groove channel. It's not just sitting up and open. There's 4 grooves all the way around to actually hold the shelf pretty sturdy. But yeah, it kind of has to slide in before the end legs go on. So let's undo that and try again. We'll also go ahead and install the cross brace H in at this time. It is nice that it actually has an additional cross brace for weight as well. Actually feels pretty sturdy. Let's find out. We won't say how much I weigh. So now I don't feel so bad. The instructions say look for a label that says front. There is no label. I'm sure there was at one point. It probably got torn off, but it's fairly self-explanatory to figure out. So let's hope I get it right. Again, most of the fastening hardware is bolts and embedded nuts. Very sturdy construction so far. Kind of impressed. So, as always, with pretty much every project I have to work on, this one bolt is the last one, and it's being troublesome. I don't think anything is stripped out from the factory. I haven't stripped anything out. I have stripped enough screws out and bolts out in my lifetime to know how to not do it. So we're feeling some friction here, so I'm going to kind of just loosen everything up and get them all good and started first and then tighten everything down. A good reason why any project you're ever working on, don't tighten all the bolts down. Um, get them all started first, make sure they're good, and then send them home. One interesting thing to note, the label, or the warning label, is upside down. My first thought was that I had done something wrong. And who knows, maybe I still have. But we'll look into that. Okay, good news. It wasn't me. Basically, there is a bracket that goes on the bottom of the shelf, per the manual. And the only way to have that screw at the bottom is to have it oriented the way it is now. So from the factory, the label was actually upside down. Now it's a warning label, and being a typical man, the first thing I was going to do is pull all those off anyway. Another item of note, the instruction manual tells you to remove the washer from the end of this. It's already removed. So the only thing this washer is for is so when you're screwing this out, you don't accidentally screw it all the way out. Not really required. This screw will not thread into the end. It feels like I don't think it's stripped. I think it's just the way it was cut in. It's tight. I may try to tap it out real quick just so I can put it together correctly. So let's take a little detour. Okay, a quick tap and die set, and now the screw will go in the end of the bolt the way it's supposed to. It's still a little bit tight, so even with that, but it's better than it was. Once you get it in, this should never come out, so we're just going to go ahead and go with that. Alrighty, time for some drawers. Looks like the one drawer is sticking or hitting on something. Gonna see if we can figure it out. Let's go ahead and put the rest of the drawers together, see if the other ones do it, see if it's just this one, and we'll come back to this. So lining this thing up is not very easy. In fact, on 2 different rails now, something caught and actually jammed the ball bearings out of the roller. Is it possible that I had it lined up wrong? Maybe. Is there something wrong with this one? Maybe. Now that I know what's going on, I'm going to take this out, see if I can fix this rail, and kind of take it from there. Okay, managed to get the ball bearings back in. Probably not perfect, but these brackets are fairly basic, low, cheap end brackets anyway. So I think this will be good enough. Now I need to find out why they were hitting in the first place. I'm going to assume that I just had them lined up wrong. I'm not going to blame the manufacturer quite yet. Let's just see what we can find out. I reinstalled the bracket wrong. That one was my fault. Okay, 2 down, 2 to go. Looks like some leftover glue in the channel. Need to clear that out. Apparently I'm getting tired, not paying attention. I just installed the same bracket on both sides. Much better. Now I need to fix the other bracket that I broke earlier. So yeah, the only thing that makes sense is that when I pushed it in, more than likely it was a little bit of an angle, and instead of sliding right into the middle, it went underneath and just pushed all the ball bearings out. So like I said, I'm going to go with operator error at this moment. Just be aware these brackets are very sloppy, so it is very easy to align them improperly. Not my favorite bracket. So now I'm just going to fix it. Basically, slide the ball bearings back into place, bend the bracket back. Okay, ball bearings back in place, bracket bent back down. And in case you're wondering, all I did was basically pull the bearings out that had popped out and bent the bracket up enough just to slide them back into place. And then just took a pair of needle nose pliers and bent it right back down again. Very easy, straightforward procedure. Didn't take but a minute. And voila, she's done. Okay, now that the assembly process is complete, just a quick summary of things that we learned and what we think about the table. So as I mentioned, I bought this table because I'm looking to get into woodworking, and to really do woodworking you need to get a workbench. The whole point of a workbench is to be able to hold your material so that you can do sanding and planing and other type of projects in a way that clamps just get in your way. The table, by using a clamp or a vise, and bench dogs, a term for a device that gives you something to push your wood against, allows you to manipulate and hold your wood pieces in a way that it gets out of your way. So something that just clamps can't do. Now, I got this table to be my beginner table. One of the big things I was looking for was to get that nice flat surface. So looking at this one and putting my 4-foot level on the device, both length and width wise, the surface is very flat. So it's got that good flat surface that you kind of need to use. The bench dogs that came with this table and the holes that they're designed to go in is really, so when you look at all the professional tables out there and everything that everyone has built, the way this one is designed is not like that. I think it will do what I need to do, which is build a better table, like everyone else is doing. So this table came with 4 wooden bench dogs. They're long and they sit above the work surface, which is not something that you see most people using them for. And the dimensions of the pieces are just not very high quality. In fact, I don't know if you can see it, but this one here is not even round. It's actually a very oval shape. The holes that are on the table are different dimensions, up to 1.3 millimeters difference based on the micrometer that I've got here. Some of these, they will fit rather loose, well actually very loose, and then other ones they're a little bit more tight. Then you turn around and try one of the other ones and it actually will fit very tight. So the wooden pieces are not the exact same dimensions. The holes are not the exact same dimensions. In this case, this one's a little bit small, this hole is a little bit big, and this one, it's just so floppy that it's pretty much useless. Now, I should be able to use this bench to build a better bench top, and that is sort of my plan, is to go ahead and use this as my beginner bench. So do I like it or not? Yes, I do like the table. For 130 bucks, and actually right now it's on sale even more at Harbor Freight, this table now is going for 119. So for 119 bucks, this is going to give me everything I need. Even at the 130 I paid, it's going to give me what I need, and I'm happy with it. The clamp on the end is not as flush as you would like it to be. There's about I would say about an 1/8 of an inch gap when one side seats, the other side has about 1/8 of an inch gap. Clamping wood pieces, that's going to go away when you clamp down on it. So it's not going to really affect what I'm going to use it for, but it is another sign that this is not a high-end table. But again, I don't even know how you pronounce it, but I was looking on Amazon, and a Joburg, or one of those Swedish high-end tables with drawers, was close to $2,000. This was $130, and right now $120. So you're not going to get the quality out of this thing. It does do what I need it to do. So the final score is I like it. Now, what am I going to do to this table to make it better? The drawers don't come out very deep. That's one thing that doesn't really excite me about this table. I should be able to put deeper rails on there. Just swapping out the rails should allow the drawers to open better and keep me from running into that problem I had where jamming the rails and breaking them came into earlier. So I think a higher quality rail and a longer rail on all 4 drawers is going to make them better. So that's something that I will probably do. The work surface is good and flat. It is fairly smooth. I don't feel like I'm going to grab a splinter, but at the same time there are some places where the glue came through and wasn't sanded as well as it could have been. So I may come in here and sand it down more, put another layer of finish on it, or maybe even use this as a way of building out a bigger top to use it. So there's a lot of options, a lot of things that I can do. I think this is going to give me a good start, and I am happy with the purchase. So if you've actually made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I hope you found some enjoyment, if nothing else, a good laugh out of it. We hope to have a lot more things coming in the future with the whole woodworking thing. So please, any comments you want to leave, feel free to leave a comment. Anything you want to pick on me about, feel free. The only thing we ask is if you have negative comments, please provide actual feedback to tell us how we can make this better. We want this to be something that is useful, so we want to know how you think we're doing. There are certain things I can't promise, like the use of the word I know I use that a lot, so we'll see what else we can change and make better. Again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later. I think I'm going to go downstairs and play with the workbench to, see how I like it.
Okay.
Alrighty, let's have, where's my workbench? What the?